So last session we discussed about working with the body section of HTML and how to use it, the body section, and the various attributes for the body section and working with that. And we will see that. Yeah. So in the body section, I given you a simple overview of basic attributes. What are the attributes in the body section and how do we work with them? And the body section attributes like margins, a-link, v-link, and all these options. I hope you are clear with all those options, right? You practiced all the margins, all the body related attributes. Yes. So a-link, v-link to work, you have to have links first. That's the reason I said just you can understand the concept. Later you will use it when you are dealing with links, when you are working with links. Next, after understanding that body section, now, as I told you, HTML5, so body section introduced several new semantics. So HTML5 body section comprises of several new semantic elements that are used to make the body section SEO friendly, search engine friendly. We will see how to use these elements now. So in the body section, the new elements we have like aside, like article, like dialog, and we have like so we have article, dialog, figure, caption. We have header, like footer, like section, like now we have menu, and we have the options like some more options here. Yeah, these are all the elements. Now we need to understand, remember, all these are actually container elements. Container elements means they can contain any type of content, which can be text or image or any graphic, anything you can keep in there. They are container elements. You can keep a text or image or graphic. So what is the purpose of these elements? What is the intention of these elements? So why these elements are designed? Earlier, before HTML5, we don't have all these. Before HTML5, entire page is designed by using table. So we used to design everything with the help of tables. We need to arrange everything in the table only. So that is before HTML5. In HTML4, we need to do that. Even all websites so have to present their content in table only. But table becomes heavy on the page. It loads unevenly and it will take more time. That's the reason they have to introduce this. And it is not search engine friendly also. To make search engine friendly, these are all new options added. So what are they and when to use them? That's the point we need to understand. Let's see. Generally, suppose so we are designing a page. So for example, this is the page. So we are designing a page. That is the page. Now page comprises of several sections actually. So it comprises of several sections actually. In the page, anything that you want to display at the top margin of page, anything you want to display at the top margin of page, we generally keep this. So we generally keep this as header. Generally we configure this as header. Header is used for displaying content at the top margin of the page, at the top margin of the page. And anything we want to display at bottom margin of the page. So to display the bottom margin of the page. So usually we use this, the bottom margin of the this footer. So usually we design this, and bottom margin of the page, we keep a footer actually. So at the bottom of margin of the page, we call footer. And between the header and footer, whatever you want to display, that area, we consider this as section. Section means between header and footer. This area is section. This is section. So between header and footer, we have section. Now, generally in a page, we usually have navigation. So that means sometimes websites will have navigation left side. We design that navigation and keep that in a nav. Nav is navigation. Sometimes that navigation can be in the head section also. In header also you can have a navigation. In header also you can have a navigation. Horizontal or vertical navigation you can design by using nav actually. So that is navigation. Inside navigation, usually you will have a menu. We have a menu inside navigation. This menu contains the options for navigation. That means like home, about, contact, everything is kept there. You can keep at any location. But usually traditionally websites will have navigations. So left side, header at the top, so footer at the bottom. So navigation can be so like home, about, contact, some electronics like that. So all these are defined in a menu. We need to configure that in the menu. So we have header, we have footer and all. And your website will usually have some important main content. Your website related main content is kept inside the main area. That means all your website related main information is kept inside the main area. Main information means about your website. So your home page, your welcome notes, everything, or whatever the offers you want to show in the first page, everything is defined in this main section. We need to configure in the main section. So inside the main, you can have paragraphs, headings, everything you can keep there. So later we will learn about how to define the paragraphs, headings and all. But that is the main area. Okay. Next, inside the main, anywhere you want to put a photo. So to make it more search engine friendly, usually what you can do is we can design by using figure. Figure usually have an image. Figure can have an image. And for that, below that, you can configure a figure caption. That is figure caption. Figure can have an image and caption. So usually it can have any picture and it can have a caption. So to group the picture and its caption, usually we have options called figure and figure caption. And sometimes in the website you will see a chat box will come. In the websites you will see chat box will come. A chat box will display. Chat box is nothing but chat box will pop up automatically. It will pop up when you click and it will ask like, do you want any help from us? So such pop-ups are designed by using Dialog. So they are kept in Dialog. Dialog will not display every time. So until or unless you open it. So that is actually Dialog. Dialog will keep and it will show as a pop-up. Dialog will show as a pop-up. That is Dialog. So you have another option is, suppose if you want to display any important information about your website, that means like latest updates or latest offers, latest news about your website, then you can write in article. You have to design in article. Article contains information about your website, highlights of your website. Like sometimes you say that, so from tomorrow we have these offers, or sometimes we say that, so this is the latest thing we added. Some highlights of our website, some summary about our website that we generally publish inside the article. We can keep inside the article. So inside the main, you can have paragraphs, headings, and all. We will discuss them later. Initially, we are discussing the new elements in HTML. That means the new elements that make the body section more effective. And we have another important option is we have aside. Usually aside is nothing but aside usually contains information which is not related to your website. That means you can show information which is not related to your website. Then we call this as aside. Aside comprises of information that is not related to our website. So generally, what can be information which is not related to our website, we keep in our website. Usually it will be like ads. That means advertisements. So we usually keep ads in aside area. That means aside comprises of information that is not related to your website. It's not related to your website. That is actually aside. And generally we organize the contents. We organize the contents with div and span. I will show you what is the role of div and span. We will discuss about that. So technically, that is generally. So the contents inside the body section. That is the purpose actually. So first point is, you can see here aside. Aside contains information which is not related to our website. So that means like advertisements. Article contains the highlights related to our website. Dialog is used for pop-up where user can do some interaction like login, register, or like chatting. All these things can be done with the Dialog. Figure and figure caption are to display images with caption. Top margin, if you want to display anything, you can keep in header. Bottom margin, anything you want, you can keep in footer. Between header and footer, you can keep a section. For navigation, we use nav, and inside the navigation, we use menu. And for the main content, we use main. And how we use div and span, we will see. Once we start designing, we will see how to use. So the div and spans, we will discuss about that. And remember, important is, these are all containers. Inside them, you can keep any content. Inside them, you can keep any content. You can configure any content inside. So inside that, you can keep any content and display them. But you will get a good appearance with only CSS. Without CSS, you will not feel any special about them. So they look normal. Without CSS, they look normal. Why? Because they don't have an appearance. Appearance can be given only with CSS. So we have to learn styles, and through the styles, we need to apply some effects for them, right? So So first we will see how to design them. Then we will learn how to give effects to get into a good layout and present with the layouts. So let's check that, how we can configure these options and use them. So let's go to our HTML page. In the HTML page, I will keep it simple now. So let's create a new HTML page. I'm just giving a new file and I am giving the name as layout.html, layout.html. We will keep in the public folder, right? We will keep in the public folder. In the public folder, I will give as layout.html. Okay, that is the page. And in this page, I am adding the doc type HTML head and the title. In the title, I will say some layout. I'm not adding others because already we learned others. Initially, every day we will concentrate mostly the design that we are learning on that particular day. So every day we don't need to write all meta, head, link and all these options, right? Your wish. So, but while practicing, it's not required. Finally, they must be there. But so initially we will just keep a title. And in the body section, now we need to design the content. So for that, I am using the new semantic elements available with general HTML. So the semantic elements I'm having, I will give at the top as header. So in the header, so I will give like Amazon shopping, something like this. Amazon shopping I am giving in as a header. I am configuring that and displaying. And below that header, I will keep a footer. So header at the top margin, footer at the bottom margin. So here I am writing like some ampersand copy. It will put a copyright symbol. So I said copyright 2021. Initially, we will see first basic point. So between header and footer now, so between header and footer, we will have a section here. We will have a section. Inside the section, I am having a navigation area. And I am having the main area. And I am having the advertisement area, ads, aside. That is the advertisement area, right? So these. So these are the options defined in the section. So section have a navigation. You can have navigation in header also. So according to your requirement and design. So we keep here navigation. Now let's design some content here and display. Suppose initially we don't have any content here. So that means we are not using any complex images or any other content here. We will just use a simple basic text for displaying. So observe carefully here. Now, one option here I'm using is a menu. Inside the navigation, we are creating a menu. Menu contains some items. Now, how you present your content? Observe carefully. We have two options. So generally, we have a div and we have a span. These div and span also containers only. These are all containers only. So div and span, these are also containers only. These are also containers. So all are containers only. So what is the point about div and span is? Actually, div is a container. We call this as block style container. And the span is an inline style container. So block style and inline style container. So div and span are block style and inline container. Block style container means, so one below another. So that means one below another. So loads one below another. Loading one below another. Not only loading and arranges one below another. That's actually the block style means. So inline means loading and arranges side by side. Side by side, loading and arranging the content side by side. Many people who don't know proper HTML, so generally they have a very complex idea about div and span. That is all rubbish, right? And you don't need to listen to that. So why? Because generally, many times people have a very complicated doubt. I often see regularly when we are teaching HTML from past 20 years, we are seeing this. With the new version also from HTML5, we are seeing this. Everyone comes with a doubt, sir, div and span. So what is difference? I am very confused. Why you are confused? Because somebody messed up with you and he messing your brain and he's confusing you. So your friends, all these are foolish definitions. So leave them aside. Don't consider them at all. People who built HTML, that is what WG and W3C, what they say about div and span is only this point. That means people who built HTML, they say that if you want a continuous block, one by one line, another line, then you use divs. Actually, these are in the place of rows in table, and the spans are in the place of columns in table. So you can keep one line by line, you can keep side by side. Later, you can also arrange the divs side by side. Actually, these two are designed for continuous loading. By default, div have one below another, and span have one beside another. That is the approach actually it follows usually. So there is no more difference between these two. If anyone asks at any level of interview, what is the purpose of a div and span? So div is used for displaying block style content, and block style content means one below another. And span is used to display inline style content. Inline style content you can display one. Inline style means it can display one beside another. I will show you a point also how we can keep the content and display the content. Actually, so when you see the presentation, you can understand. So there is nothing more than this. So this is the point about div and span. There is no more anything about div and span. So you will see that, you will understand. So here, observe carefully now in the menu, I am adding a div. In the menu, I am adding a div. This is for home, and another div for about, and another div for contact. These are all containers on. And all these containers, that means every div is a block. That means one below another it will display, right? So this is the navigation. And inside the navigation, we have a menu. Inside the menu, we have these divs. For example, if I want to keep side by side, you can see now in the header, I am adding a navigation. So inside the navigation, we have a menu. And in the menu, I want side by side. Then I will put a span. So like home. So I will put another span, and pipes. So another span like about, and another span like pipe, and one more span like contact, to keep the content side by side. This is inline style. So side by side. This is block style. This is a block style. So we have designed the navigation, so the menu, and all these options. Now inside the main, you can have several contents. I will put an article. article. I will put an article. So an article says, suppose some updates. We will put some updates there. And we will put some figure. So figure will have an image. That means your image. And later we will learn how to keep image, and figure will have a fig caption. Keep fig caption like figure 1.1, figure 1.2, or some name which is used to refer that image, so that search engines can easily get that image and return that image and display the image. So that's how it can manage. So that is article and figure. And we want a dialog here. I will keep a dialog. In the dialog, I am giving as chart with so help, or chart with HR, something. So chart with HR, something like this. So that is some option configurations we are defining. Now you see that all these are containers, and we have all of them used in this page now. In the aside, I will give here as ads here. That means your advertisements will be here. And you can see that. So when you can see all we have used here. That means we have used aside, article, dialog, figure, caption, header, footer, section, navigation, menu, div, span, everything I have used in this design. Now let's run this and see. So let's run this and see. So open with live server and see. You will not find much pleasing appearance for that. You have some appearance, but it's not looking great. Of course, it will not look great because generally to make it appear great, so you have to use a lot of styles, because appearance you can give and you can achieve correctly with styles only, So styles actually we have to learn in CSS. I will show you. But without going to CSS, in the HTML itself, we will start learning little bit of styles. So any doubts related to styles, you keep with yourself, right? And because you will be get clarified about them in the CSS concept. In HTML, we will learn partially few CSS options. Only what I am discussing in the class, you just concentrate on them. Now, don't go more than that, because you are going to learn them later when you are going to deal with CSS separately. Initially, what is required for our context, I will just give you some points so that we can see a good appearance every day when you are designing the page. And by the time we reach CSS, you will get maximum knowledge of CSS. So with HTML itself, that is always good to learn HTML with little bit CSS in the beginning itself, so that you can do good designs. So now we designed a page, but it's not according to the appearance. Let's give some appearance for this. So see how to give an appearance. So to give the good appearance for this, let's go. And here in the header, I will give this. I will not leave it normally. In the header, I will keep in a div, and there I written Amazon shopping, something like this. So that is actually the presentation, how it looks like. So how to apply the styles? To apply the styles and give a good appearance, what you can do is go to head section. In the head section, you can add a style element. In the head section, you can add a style element. Working with the styles. Now don't concentrate on that now. You just listen and use only the concept I teach you here as of now. Later you will learn everything about styles. So repeatedly again and again I am saying this because you people don't hear properly and come again and again with the same question. Sir, how to put right side, how to put left side, how to put bottom. You are going to learn, but you will have to just concentrate that later, right? Okay. Initially, we will concentrate on only what we are currently going to learn in this session. Okay. So what you do is write the style. Okay. In style, we have header. For header, I want to give some appearance. I am writing here header. I told you later you will learn so many styles of writing, selectors, and so many. As of now, it's easy to understand. You can write header, and what effects you want for header, you have to write in the curly braces. In the curly braces, you have to define what effects you want for the header. Initially, for header, I am giving font size. Font size. Font size, I will give as some 20 pixels. So that means in header, all fonts size will be 20 pixels. That means Amazon navigation, it will be 20 pixel. You can do one thing. Inside the header, put a space and say div. That means it indicates that it will not apply for everything inside the header. It will apply only for the div inside header. It will apply for the div inside a header. So that means only for Amazon shopping it will give. It will not affect everything. So that is header, and that is for the div inside header. And we can also give as font weight as bold, and you can see it will be bold. Okay, remember these are simple terms and attributes you can easily understand. Font size, font weight as bold. Later in CSS you will learn more detail. That is only for the div. Okay. Now I will give again header. That means previously I given for the div inside header. Now I am giving for header. For header, background color. I will give some background color. So some tomato, that is the background color. As of now, we will use color names. In the next level, we will learn color codes. I told you already. So this is color. Okay. So color means text color. Text color I will give as white. Text color I am giving as white. And you see now the header. So appearance will be like this. Header appearance will be like this. Now I want this Amazon shopping in the center. Then the header div, I will keep here text align. Text align. I will pass it. Keeping in the center. Now I want some space around this content. You see they are exactly on the border. I want some space around the content. So remember the space around the content is called the space around the content as padding. Suppose we generally have our content. So this is the page. In this page, we have our content. In the page, we have our content. So, and here, the content, whatever around the content, that means the space as padding. We call this mechanism as padding. That is padding. The space around the content is called padding. Right? Yes, what is your doubt?
Sir, your voice not getting clearly, sir. Why? I don't know. No, only for me or all?
You check your side once, huh? For
My
everyone.
side is clear, sir.
Others don't have any complaint. That means your problem only, right?
Yeah, okay, I am using Wi-Fi.
I am also using Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
right?
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I hope my voice is clear and loud for everyone, right? Is it clear? Okay, fine. Yes. He have problem, something like, okay, fine. Now, so let's check. This is the content. So around it is padding, anything on that. And around the padding, you have margin. Around the padding, you will have margin. So that means now I want to put some space around the content in header, around the content in header. So what I can do here is I can simply write here as a padding. That means header will have an padding. Header will have an padding. Padding I will give as some 5 pixels. 5 pixels. Here pixels px we have to write. In HTML, while writing height, width, you don't need to write pixels, but in CSS, you have to write pixels, px, pixels, inches, centimeters. So 5 pixels, you can see that space will be around it. Space will be around it. You can adjust some space between every span here. Space between every span here. Observe carefully. So actually in the navigation, so inside the menu, we have a span. Inside the menu, we have a span. So what we have to do is, we have to write like this. So menu, space, span. That means inside the menu, we have a span. And inside the menu, if we have a span, then what we have to do here is, for this I will give as margin right margin. Margin right, I will give as 20 pixel. 20 pixel right margin I am configuring here. You can see that now. 20 pixel right margin for the span. You will get some space between them. You will get some space. Later you will learn center alignments and everything you will understand. No need to worry about that as of now. So later you are going to learn about them and work with them. And for that menu span, so I will give font size as some 15 pixels. Then its size will be little bit adjusted. Suppose I said 25 pixels, it will be large. It will be large. And for the div, I can give more size. For the div, I will give as 30 pixels. That means that Amazon will be more size and it will be like this. You can adjust the size for them. So you can put some space around. That means margin right, I given as 40 pixels. Then the space between them will increase. You can display so many contents inside them. Remember, you observe here, we displayed by using a span, and the span keeps everything side by side, So these options are very simple to understand and use. So header, inside header, if I write only header, it will apply for entire header. Inside header, there is a div. For that, we want these effects. Font size, font weight, and text alignment are the effects. And header means entire header will have this style. So background color, and padding. And the menu, inside the menu, there is a span. For that span, we give the margins and font size. I hope these are simple and clean to understand. Is there any confusion in this? So there is no confusion in this, right? So they are very simple and easy to understand. So you are writing a style. And the right style are simple for header divs, menu span. So now this is only for header we are giving. And similarly, now we have footer. For footer also, I given as background color as tomato, and I given the color as white, and I've given text alignment as center. I given font size as 20 pixels. So 20 pixels. So that is the options. And you can see that the footer comes like this. For footer also, I will keep some padding. So that means here I will give padding as 3 pixels, only small, some space will be arranged around it. So we have the heading and padding. Padding is nothing but the space around the content. Is there any complication? Huh? So the space around the content is padding, and the space around the padding is margin. Understood? Is it clear to everyone? So space around the content is padding, and the space around the padding is called margin, right? These are basic simple thing. Nothing complicated here. So you see now, that means the space, you have copyright. Above and below, there is no space. So you want some space. So then what you do? Generally, you give padding. Padding I give as some 10 pixels, then you can see that it will have more space. Above, below, sides, it will have more space. That is the padding. Right? Now, this is the header and footer. So this is the header and footer. And between header and footer, we have section. I want some height for section. Right. Already I told you. So there are so many other ways of measuring. So inches, centimeters that you will learn in CSS. As of now, pixels is enough. And yesterday I told you what is pixel and how the pixels are measured. Okay. Already we discussed about that in the last session. What is pixel? How much pixels we need to give? What is the page size and all? Right. Right. So now I need to adjust the height of section. So then what we have to do? Let's go and write for section here. So for section, I am defining. So for section, I am defining height. Height I defined for section as 400 pixels. So 400 pixels. And you can see that the section height will increase now. That means you have the content above and below. You have the contents above and below, and between some options are present here. You can give more. Obviously, your content will scroll up and down if there is more height and defined. So this is the basic height I defined for the section area, because section is present between header and footer. Now observe carefully. In the section, three areas are present. In the section, three areas are present. One is navigation area, another main area, and one more we are having is aside area. These are the three main areas. These are the three main areas. One second. Yeah. So we have three areas inside this. We have in the section, remember, main areas, we have a nav area and main and aside. Now, I want these three areas to arrange side by side. That means navigation left side, main in the center, and aside into right side. Then what you can do is, actually in CSS, for section, we can write here. So display as grid. For section, we can write display as grid. When you write display as grid for the section, we are configuring display as grid. Okay. Initially, you will not see much difference. So after mentioning display as grid, you have to tell how many columns that grid should contain. So for that, currently we want 3 columns. That means section is divided into grid, and we want 3 columns inside that grid. Then we have to write grid template columns. How many columns you want and how much width every column. There are 2 options. Suppose I will give 200 pixels left column and 200 pixels left column. Some 800 pixels center column, and 100 pixels right column. Like that you can divide. Already I told you, out of 1024, you have to divide this. 1024 is the default pixel size of the width of the page. This looks very complex. Why? Because when I use this website on a mobile, or when I see this on tab like device, then because of these pixels, so we have to scroll left and right because those screens are very short. Instead of pixels, you give fractions. That means you have to write fractions. Fractions means two fractions. So two fractions. You need to write according to the fractions. That means two fractions left column. Okay. Remember, total number of columns that you can give will be 12. Maximum you can give 12 columns only. You have to share everything with these 12 columns. In 12 columns, remember total number of columns in a page will be 12. In 12 columns, so left column, how much you want? Two fractions I want. Center column, how much you want? So 8 fractions I want. Right column, how much you want? Only 2 columns I can give now. So that means you have to share in 12. So out of 12, how many fractions? FR is fraction. What is advantage of fraction is responsible for adjusting the size according to the device, according to the browser screen. If browser width is adjusting, this also will shrink and adjust. It will optimize your website properly for displaying the content on the page. So that is the reason, if you want a good responsive, then you have to give fractions. So 2 fractions, 8 fractions, and 2 fractions. And you see automatically here. So the content is divided like this. You can see left side navigation bar will come. In the center, main will come. And right side, advertisements will come. You can give them separate appearances. For example, I want to move this area little bit down. Then section area you can move little bit down by using margin top. I can give as some 40 pixels. Then you can see from margin top, it will get down some little bit, it will get down. The margin top, it will use it. And left side, you can give navigation. So you see home, about, contact, navigations are there. Observe carefully now here. So this is the navigation. This is the navigation inside section. In that we have a menu. In the menu we have divs. Now we are writing here. So if menu, in the menu divs are present. So for that I will give width. I will give width as 200 pixels. And I will give background color as tomato. And I will give the color as white. And every div will have margin bottom as 20 pixel. And you can see that every div in the menu will be displayed like this. You can adjust the width. Suppose I will keep the width as some 130 pixels. And I will give font size as 20 pixels. And I will give padding as some 3 pixels. Then you can see the adjustment will be like this. Later we can give a good appearance for them, but this is div. Div will be one below another. Span will be one beside another. Now you can give appearance for your advertisements and other options also. For example, suppose I want the appearance here. I want the appearance for aside. For aside, I will give border as 2 pixel. So border as 2 pixel. And I am giving solid border. I am giving border as 2 pixel and solid border. And you can see that border as 2 pixel and solid border. I can adjust the height, width, everything. So there are so many borders. We have solid border, we have dotted border. We can give the borders like that. I will give later in CSS, you will learn, I will give solid border. And the height I am giving as some 60 pixels. So the height will be 60 pixels. That is advertisement. You can keep text align center. You can keep padding as 10 pixels. Then it will adjust some space and display. So like that, you can give appearance for all your contents. So you can give the appearance for all your contents. Now here, So aside is there. Similarly, I will write article. For article, I am giving border as 2 pixel dotted border, and I will give the height as some 40 pixel, and you can see the article will be like this. I can adjust the width. So width is some 200 pixel. You can keep it anywhere you want. That is the article. And we have a figure. So write figure. So for figure, I am giving the border as 2 pixel, some double border. And we say width is equal to some 200 pixel, and height is also 100 pixel. And you can see the figure is also having a different appearance. For figure, we are adding option like padding as 5 pixel, and it will add the padding 5 pixel for that space. But remember, you can keep anywhere, right side, left side. Later we will learn how to keep right, left, and different appearances where you want. Now, initially, so the point is, whenever we want the appearance to configure, we want the appearance to configure. Here, one option is missing. Use the missing option is nothing but dialog is missing. You can observe here. So we return a dialog. So we return a dialog chart with HR. The dialog is not there on the screen because usually dialog requires an option called open. When I give open option for dialog, then automatically dialog opens and shows. Later with JavaScript, we can open button click, and we can close on button click. We can put a close button. We can configure that. That means it will change later, and we can adjust it and we can configure it. Initially, by default, it is hidden. You can remove that open. It is not displayed. If you want to display, you just use open, then it will be displayed. It will be displayed. Later, you can keep right, left, anywhere with JavaScript and all. You can adjust more. But this is the basic appearance, how you define the content and place. So this is not complete because you have to put images, you have to put contents. You learn more CSS, you can get a better appearance. But this is important to understand that these are all the new elements which are used for making the content more effective. There is nothing special about div and span. Div is nothing but inline blocked content. Blocked content means one below another. Span is one beside another. They are used for inline content. These are only the options you need to understand, and we need to design this. So, and here we use a little bit of CSS to give a good appearance for that. I hope everyone understood all these points clearly. Is it clear? Everyone understood all these points clearly? Is it clear? Right? So aside, article, dialog, figure, caption, and there is no confusion in the styles we have written, right? There is no confusion in the styles we have written. So you understood the styles because you are going to learn gradually more styles and effects. So there is no confusion in the styles, am I right? Everything is fine, right? So technically, so you see here, there is a box for home. There is a box for home. Can you see that box, Praveen? Can you see the box for home? Can you see the box for that home? Is it visible to you? In that, there is a word called home. Is it visible to you? There is a word called home. Is there any space between home and that particular word? Home and that box, is there any space? Is there any space? Is it visible? The space is visible to you, Praveen? Is the space visible to you? If you want more space, then you have to give padding. Understood? That's it. That's it. Now, where that box is present, so from left margin, some space. Right. Where the box is present, the distance between the two boxes is margin. Understood? Distance two boxes, that is margin. Distance between the content and the box inside is padding. Okay, na? Right. Right. Yes, Sai Kumar.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్పిందంతా అది ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ చేసిందంతా గూగుల్ క్లాస్ ఫామ్ లో అప్లోడ్ చేయండి సార్.
లేకపోతే నీ వల్ల కాదు కదా చేయడానికి. రోజు అప్లోడ్ చేసే ఉంది ఆల్రెడీ క్లాస్ రూమ్ నోట్స్ చూసుకో. నోట్స్ లో ఆల్రెడీ అప్లోడ్ చేసే ఉంది. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే
ఎస్ సతీష్.
Sir, can you tell me the difference between the head and body, sir?
Head and body.
Yeah.
Head body or head section or body section?
Head section, body, sir.
Head section and body section.
Yeah, exactly.
Head section will be loaded into memory of browser. And body section will be directly rendered into the browser.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Clear? Yes, Prashant.
Sir, in style section, we are using the tags like color, font size, font weight, text line.
They are not tags, they are called attributes. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
And
attributes,
these attributes are enough. You don't need to think more than that. Okay. You understood font size, font weight, text line?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's enough. That's enough. Forget others. Okay. What I given here, just listen to that. Okay. Other effects you will learn later. Understood?
Okay,
and
sir.
these effects you will learn detailing in CSS. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Yadagiri.
Sir, statistics only we can write in head section or body section?
You can write anywhere. I told you that currently what I am telling, just follow. Understood? Where to write style, how to write style, what are the effects of styles, you will learn later in CSS here. You understood my English?
Yes,
huh? From the beginning of the class, I am telling this point that we will learn about styles more detailing in later stage and everything. Understood? Yes, currently, we are writing styles is just to satisfy the output for the current concept. Understood? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Vishwaranjan.
Good morning, sir.
Tell me.
What is article? I did not understand. What is article?
Article means highlights about your website.
Okay,
your website will have some highlights now that you
sir.
keep in article. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay then. Now, once we know this layout, you just practice this layout today. I will give you an exercise tomorrow. That layout you have to design by yourself. First you practice today's. Then in the next session, we will see some more attributes and some more options how to work with them. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue with this.